It's one of the most dangerous treks a person can set out on, climbing Mount Everest. But one Treasure Valley man is on a mission to make sure Sherpas are doing it safely.
But when asked if he would partake on the journey himself, he said, absolutely not. 6 on your side's Lacey Darrow is joining us live in studio with tonight's exclusive story.
That's right, Donna Michelle. Although Doug Colwell has never climbed Everest, he says climbing skills are climbing skills, no matter the mountain. We've all seen it in the movies. Climbers struggling to stand literally on top of the world, then suddenly plummeting to an icy death. But a Boise man who just returned back from Nepal is trying to make sure every climber who attempts to summit Mount Everest understands that getting to the top is optional, but getting down is mandatory. Meet Doug Colwell, co-owner of Idaho Mountain Guides, but he's never actually climbed Everest himself.
You know, I climbed Mount Boyle once, and then I went over to Mount Everest.
In the tight-knit climbing community, Colwell is not only well-respected, but also an incredibly accomplished rock jock. He's pioneered more than 500 first ascents, climbed on 4 continents, and made an attempt on arguably the toughest mountain in the world to climb, K2. He made the more than 7,000-mile journey to Nepal not to climb Everest, but rather to teach others, in particular Sherpas, how to do so safely.
They run a 2-week program, and this year there were about 75 students in that.
Throughout the class, Doug hammered the basics, climbing skills and techniques, knot tying, first aid, geology, and even some English. Because many commercial guiding companies lead inexperienced Westerners up the slopes of Everest, nearly everyone is dependent on Sherpas, making all the more important that everyone is on the same page.
It's pretty important that they understand what safe climbing skills are about, and you know, it only benefits the Westerners more to have Sherpas that live through the expedition.
And the more the Sherpa knows, the more those climbing are going to appreciate them.
You know, I mean, candidly, if your Sherpa's helping you learn some of that stuff when you're going in, you're just going to feel you've got a better value, and he's going to be more valued.
Upon completion of the course, the Sherpas receive a certificate of achievement and are ready to strap on their crampons.
I was in Kathmandu. I was with the director, and there were actually students coming back asking for duplicate copies of their certificates because they'd been damaged during the earthquake, and they needed them to show to their potential employers that they were actually a graduate of this school.
Which makes the work for Colwell that much more rewarding.
And waking up every morning in the Himalayas in January and feeling the sun on my face, and knowing that I was going to have an opportunity to help somebody that day, it was like living a dream.
As for if Doug ever plans to summit Everest,
no, there's 800 people there at a time.
While he says it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, he's happy to be home.
There's enough stuff in our own backyard that I can adventure here forever.
Doug says he doesn't just want to teach those overseas the basics of climbing. With his business, Idaho Mountain Guides, he hopes that even those here in the Treasure Valley understand that safety is the most important thing to have. Live in studio, Lacey Darrow, 6 on your side.